Welcome to Ignite Your Soul Connection Masterclass. Thank you for joining us in our first ever spring equinox edition of Ignite Your Soul Connection, where we are talking about health and healing. In this masterclass, it has been created to challenge each of us to choose optimal health for ourselves, our family, and our community. So be sure to grab your writing utensils, your journal, or your notebook, along with a healthy beverage to soothe your palate. Then just sit back and listen to this amazing podcast. And we thank you for listening. Greetings. Welcome to the second day of our spring edition of Ignite Your Soul Connection. We are so excited about being able to bring this production to you. Most of you already know that we have been producing Ignite Your Soul Connection events now for over 14 years. And this year, we were challenged because some of the coaches really felt like we should start doing it with the spring equinox in the autumnal equinox. So we will be doing it in the fall again. And our focus will be on a master class of health and healing. If you were with us last night, you got to meet Iysc. Oh, let me let you know, my name is Mushemsu-t. However, most people do call me Rita Stewart. However you address me, that's fine. But last night in our first day, and you can go back and look at the replay, we had a wonderful presentation by Iysc, and she actually laid out the full life quadrant where we were able to look at the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual aspects of our well-being. And a lot of great information was shared. So if you missed it last night, I really request that you go back and look at it. And so we're continuing this event with our wonderful and our amazing Dr. Tammye. She is from the first class of Master Force, and that means she's 14 years certified as a life coach through our program. And I am so excited to have her here. She has been very instrumental in making sure that we keep ourselves healthy inside of a conversation of detoxing and fasting. So tonight, she will be addressing the needs of fitness and food. Dr. Tammye, how are you tonight?
I am amazing. Thank you so much.
You look so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. You do as well.
Oh, thank you. I am so grateful. It's just very interesting that we always catch you when you're traveling.
Yeah.
Did you know that? So,
I realize that.
do you realize that? So I really love that you allow yourself the space to be with us. I thank you so much. I do not take that lightly. So I just want to acknowledge you for being someone who's available to community to share. I mean, I know you're the teacher card. I know you're the tenor club, but you actually do make yourself accountable to making a difference. And that means a great deal to me and other coaches. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mushemsu-t, for the invitation and the opportunity to stay relevant in these turbulent times. On a platform to continue to be able to share my wisdom and knowledge as I am continuing on the journey of healing and self-mastery. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Well, and before we get started with all of the things you're going to share with us, can you please go ahead and give us a background so that people can actually really understand why we actually look so forward to you sharing with us?
Oh, my goodness. Well, Mushemsu, as I've said before, I had a personal journey of sickness and disease. I started very early in my life with lymphedema. And then developed in my 30s, high blood pressure, eventually high cholesterol, fibroids, dysmenorrhea, painful time in my life. I actually have a background in biology pre-medicine. And I come from the pharmaceutical sales industry, 11 years in the industry. I learned actually in 2007 of holistic health, natural healing, um, and began to study under Dr. Derek Williams and Dr. Africa after having years of no success with medication in healing my body and removing
Mm.
pain and suffering. I got to the age of 39. I made a final decision that I was going to stop playing with the nutrition part and do what I knew to do and what I had been taught. I was challenged in knowing how to apply all of this amazing information that I did learn from Dr. Williams, my naturopath, and Dr. Laila Africa, who I had gone through the program to become a registered naturopathic doctor. And I shut everything down December 2009, went into a fast, went into a detox, and made the decision that I was going to get a coach and I
Hmm.
to learn how to apply the information in order to reverse my diseases, my illnesses, and my pain. So
Yes.
that was 14 years ago.
Wow. And I'm so grateful that you're able to mention the diseases that you were dealing with, because most of the time we think that they come with a later age, right? But it actually starts with the way that we treat our body with food and fitness and all of that, doesn't it, Dr. Tammye?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what I discovered later when I actually had injuries to my feet, that my lymphatic system, which is the body's natural detox system,
Yes.
was attacked in
Mm.
college at the age of 18, 19 years old.
And wait, okay. So did you have an issue at 18? Were you ill and something happened?
So I had an injury. I was in college, and I was a cheerleader growing up. So it was
Hmm.
finals time. Me and a friend we were outside studying, and we decided to get up and start doing tumbling, start doing flips, and you know, and no injury that I was aware of. But by the time I got back to my dorm room, my right foot, the top, was red, hot, and swollen,
Ooh.
and it was painful. So I was treated as if it was tendonitis, inflammation, which would make sense because there was no actual injury that I was aware of. That I later discovered that I had impaired lymphatic vessels that were injured.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, by not having the proper shoe on at the time.
Wow. And so now, did this cause something to happen to you now for 10 years without you realizing that was going on?
Yes. So then another injury happened a few years later because I never understood why my foot never went back to regular size. So I had one big foot, one small foot. Then maybe 3 or 4 years later, I'm working and I have on these high heels. And then the left foot, by the time I get to work, did the same thing.
Well, it had to match each other. Now, the
Yeah,
body is not going to be lopsided.
exactly. Exactly.
It's like, wait, if that foot is big, we got to make the other foot big,
Exactly. Because
asymmetrical.
it was bad. It just looked bad. And I have tiny fingers, I had tiny feet and toes. So it was really obvious. But
Wow.
then the injury happened on the left foot. By the time I arrived to work in my new cute heels, the top foot was swollen. There was no injury that I was aware of again. And so, as I learned to pretty much manage these conditions, what I found later was that it would lead to high blood pressure.
Oh.
Yeah, as I got older, I started putting on weight, the stress, and all of that because the body, the lymphatic system, which is again the detox system of the body, and it's very fragile, small vessels at the superficial level, right under the skin. This is what removes the toxins The
Yes.
body.
Yes.
So, because I wasn't aware of it, because even the medical professionals that I went to weren't quite sure of why I was still having my feet were still swollen, I had to sort of learn myself. When I drink a lot of water, when I take walks, my feet seem to go down. When I'm eating high nutrition foods, oh, that's interesting. I don't have the same problems that I have when I'm eating
Wow.
sweets.
Yeah, and immediately what comes to mind, anytime I have any swelling, I get my skin brush. And
Hmm.
I brush, and actually stimulate the lymphatic system. I
Exactly.
also bounce on my rebounder,
Yes.
and raise my arms up and down, which also stimulates the lymphatic system. And look, right. But the first thing the doctors want to do is give you medication,
They put me on
which also,
Lasix,
hmm
a strong water pill, and my body has always been very sensitive. I've never liked taking drugs.
hmm
I would just stop taking them after a while because I didn't like the way they made me feel, which I'm grateful for because I probably would have kidney problems
yes,
time had I
over long
stayed
term, yes.
long-term use, because that was not getting to the root cause of the problem.
Yeah, and maybe that's where we should start, Dr. Tammy.
Mhm.
You want to talk, you want to, well, let me let you start because you have your agenda. So let me let you go ahead. I just wanted to make sure that people had a background
Yeah,
of
no, I
where you're
appreciate
coming
it.
from.
Yeah,
So go
yeah.
ahead and start where you would start.
Well, when I was preparing for today, I said, "Well, Tammy, what are you going to say differently that your audience has not heard before?"
Okay.
Came to mind is the conversation surrounding food and vibration, levels of vibration. And my
Yes.
thoughts are this: when we talk about high quality nutrition, the only
Mm-hmm.
people that's really going to understand or even listen are those who are at a certain level of vibration and are probably already eating foods that are high quality. The
Yes.
masses of the people
Are
are not
not doing
eating
that.
it, right? And
No.
we know that based on heart disease. It's the number
Yes.
one killer, Black women and Black men.
Yes.
Not COVID that's killing us, it's heart disease. And what causes heart disease? Poor nutrition, stress, dehydration, toxicity in the body. So, my thoughts were, let's talk a little bit about some of these low vibrational foods and how the high quality nutrition balances out the low vibrational foods, and why is it that it hopes to lead to why it's important to really invest in high quality nutrition, foods that bring the body what it needs in order for it to stay in homeostasis, to stay balanced, to stay
Yes.
alive.
Yes.
So that
That's
was my
wonderful.
thought. Yeah. So I wanted to start with the number one, I believe, the number one addiction that is impacting uh, us in the US, which is with sugar.
Yes.
Sugar is a preservative, just like sodium. But what's happening is it's added to the processed foods, which which is causing us to have the top three diseases that we're experiencing in the U.S. And so, as a result of that, we're dying faster because we don't really understand that the processed foods and the sugar that is used to preserve these foods. So let's talk about McDonald's, the foods that come out of boxes and
Yep.
that's dropped in oil or that's put in grease or on the griddle, that's put in the oven. The quick foods, that
Microwave.
the microwaves, right?
Yes.
The quick foods, the plastic foods that the
hmm
body cannot digest
That's right.
properly. It cannot break it down. And so then, as a result of the body getting clogged because the colon is a very live, the cells and tissue in our body is very alive. And we're putting in dead foods. We're putting in toxic foods. So then we have constipation. So then we
Mm.
have the stomachs. So then we
Yes.
feel tired. When we get off of work, I thought about this because this is what I used to do, and there's no judgment. But you get off of work, you're tired, and you're like, oh, I'm going to stop at a fast food place. Your
Yes.
vibration is low because you're tired
Already.
already. So you're
Mm-hmm.
going to go and get low vibrational food because that's the level of where you are.
Mm.
See, food is tied to emotions and stress because we've been programmed to go
Yes.
for certain foods based on how we feel.
Yes.
So, as a result of that, people can't hear, our community can't hear us because they're not vibrating at that level in order to hear about, oh, the phytonutrients that's in our green foods. You need to eat more of that. They can't hear that
Mm.
conversation. We have to meet them where they are so that they can self-discover and become aware. Ah, I heard Mushemsu and Dr. Tammye talk about this. This is why when I eat this pizza, my blood glucose levels shoot up because my body really cannot digest this food properly. It's not
Right.
designed to.
Yes. It's
This
not designed to.
is not designed to eat
Mm-hmm.
plastic food. So what
Mm-hmm.
happens is the body, in order to protect itself, it will store it in the fat cells.
So that's why everyone looks like they're so plump.
Plump.
And
Because,
it's not like they're overeating, it's because they're eating the wrong food.
yes, and the body does not know what to do with that.
Yeah, they can't detox it, they can't break it down, it can't get rid of it, so it just puts it someplace and it becomes padding.
Exactly. Fat is a protector. Fat
Fat
is
is a protector.
protecting you from the toxicity. It's protecting you from having your body poisoned because it's not natural. And
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, our communities are flooded. Now, you don't see all these restaurants in some of the higher end communities, the affluent, wealthy communities.
No, you don't.
You don't,
No.
because they're not going to allow garbage in their communities because they don't want to eat it and they don't want their children to eat it.
Yes.
But
And when people start to understand the way that food actually affects the hormone levels, the brain, the development of children, you
yes,
definitely are not going to let them eat plastic all the time. It
exactly.
will stunt their growth and it will retard them at some point.
Exactly. Exactly. But somewhere down the line, we've been programmed. Well, you know what? If the government has approved it, it can't be bad.
FDA approved. FDA
FDA
approved.
approved. So it can't be bad because they're not going to do anything to hurt or try to kill us. That's the
Re-
thought process.
Don't you think people are they thinking differently yet though? Can they? I mean, you said it out loud, but I'm like,
I know, but when you allow corner stores to sell to your children flaming hot Doritos with look like meat on top and cheese on their way to school for breakfast
flaming hots and blue juice.
and blue juice and those taquitos things for
Yep,
breakfast,
yep.
and as a parent, you're not concerned about that. That no, we're still doing this. These people are still making money in our communities, selling garbage, selling plastic, selling poison to our children.
So what's the solution, Dr. Tammye? Because I like to point out a problem, but I
Mhm.
always like to have a way of actually solving it so that people can have a choice and
Yeah.
they can say, "Well, I didn't know what to do." Okay,
Yes.
well now we want to give you some feedback and point you in the right direction so that you
Absolutely.
know what to do.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, you have to acknowledge my body is diseased. My my body is not supposed to look or feel like this. Like at some
Mm,
point, we just have to be responsible and and look at our children. My child is overweight. My child is having problems breathing. My child is not sleeping. I'm not sleeping. You know, why is it that I crave donuts in the middle of the night, whatever that thing is, because you do know what it is that you're putting in your body that's toxic. It's not that we
yes,
don't know. It's just that
yes.
we don't believe that it's causing us to
Oh
have,
no, I rather believe I'm big boned.
yeah,
Or this is genes. My whole family is like that. My whole family is big bone. So I'm gonna be big bone. My children gonna be big bone. That's just who we are. It don't have nothing to do with what I eat.
no, because I mean, my when I was a baby and I cried, my mommy gave me sugar. When I went to the
Yes.
doctor and I cried, the doctor gave me sugar. When I went to the bankers gave me sugar. So sugar has to be okay. I was introduced and programmed to deal with my emotions with sugar, and in some cases with liquor, at some point with drugs.
Well, that's not out of place. I knew a gentleman who had four sons, and whenever he needed them to take a nap, he would put Everclear in their Kool-Aid. And I'm talking about the
Mm.
youngest kid was probably 3 or 4 years old.
Oh my God.
And he bragged about this. And you know, and I'm like, how do you get your kids to take a nap every day at the same time? Oh, they love Kool-Aid.
Oh my
And I'm thinking, oh, okay. Yeah, that's a lot of sugar. It seemed like they wouldn't go down with Kool-Aid. He said, I
God.
put some Everclear in there. Wow.
And somebody taught him that.
Somebody taught him that.
And
And
that,
made him believe that it was okay.
yes, exactly. That it was okay. Somewhere down the line, our community, there's this disconnect, and we think it's okay to feed ourselves and to feed our children foods that are toxic. And it's not okay. And we have to then acknowledge it and decide, however way we want to come to it, you know what? I need to stop because I need to model before my children or my grandchildren the truth, or they are going to end up where I am or worse. My people perish for lack of knowledge.
Yes.
So you
Yes.
have to stop. And when I say stop, this is where we get into the fasting, detoxing. This is the most, to me, in my opinion, and there may be something else that Mushemsu, or somebody else know, but fasting, detoxing is the fastest, most efficient way to change the brain and to begin to put in new ways of doing things, of breaking habits, breaking addictions, and to be able to move forward in introducing to the body the things that will bring life, not
Yes.
death.
Yes. I'm in total agreement. In total agreement. Some of the things that people do when they feel sick, the first thing they want to do is get food,
Eat.
but really you want to starve
You want
the
to
illness.
that so, and just to put a little context around that,
Yes.
if you have a virus or bacteria, it feeds on toxicity.
Mm-hmm.
So I know our grandparents and our parents taught us eat some chicken soup. I know that's
Mm.
what But the truth is we need to starve whatever that foreign invader is in our bodies so
Yes.
that we can flush. That's why water, good quality, high quality water, fresh water,
Yes.
so we can flush the foreign invader out of the system because we will heal faster
Absolutely.
instead of continuing to feed the foreign invader, the bacteria, the virus, keep feeding it. It takes longer, especially if you're constipated. It takes longer to leave the body. You're going to have symptoms for a longer period of time because it's going to take your body longer to heal because your immune system is
And
compromised.
Dr. Tammy, most people don't even realize they're constipated because they think it's okay to go 2 or 3 days without a bowel movement. I had to tell somebody the other day, no, you need to move your bowels after you eat.
Eat. There
So
is a
that means if you eat 3 times a day, you need to use the bowel movement thing.
yeah to,
You got to release it,
to
right?
release it. If you have any type of animal, I watch my dog. When he
Oh,
eats, I have to then take him out shortly after so that he can release.
that's
Because
right.
if I don't, he's not going to be able to eat again.
Nope.
We not only will not have the bowel movement, and then we'll be like, "Ooh, I'm hungry," because the parasites that are generally in the colon, the parasites want more food, but you're not hungry. But
Nope.
there's a fear, Mushemsu. There's a fear of being hungry. There is a fear. Where does that
Yeah,
come from?
that comes from eat all your food because the children in Africa are starving. How many times when we growing up, you better eat, you better clean that plate, you and be grateful for all the food you can get because the kids in Africa, like, what does that have to do with me?
Exactly. Programming. We've been
Programming.
programmed. When we watch TV, when we go to the movie, think of when we go to the movies. Oh my goodness. You got the sounds of the Coke or the pop or
Oh,
whatever
yeah,
product
I'm
they
getting to
sell.
it. I'm gonna have to have me some popcorn and some raisinets. Now I might get water or bring my own water, but I'm gonna have some popcorn and raisinets. and and I can hear all the subliminal messaging, right? Because it's
Yes,
there.
because it's there. And when we identify, we have been programmed. It's like it's okay. There is no judgment. I am not
No
here to judge
judgment. Not
anybody.
at all.
But
No.
know that our grandparents didn't know. We came from our ancestors. They did the best that they could
But what they knew,
with what
absolutely.
they knew.
But
And
when we know better,
we
we
do.
need to do better.
Food is
Absolutely.
tied to emotions. It should not be. What
Hmm.
you eat should not be dependent upon how you feel today. And even
That's
with
great.
exercise, we should have a schedule, not based
Yes.
on what I got a taste for, how I feel today, but what our body needs. What does my
Hmm.
body need today? If I've had carbs on yesterday, maybe today, maybe I need to do salad today because maybe I'm feeling full because I had potatoes or I had, maybe I need to have more fresh foods. Maybe I need more protein. Maybe,
Hmm.
but being proactive in creating your meals based on keeping your body balanced and healthy versus this is what I feel like, this is what I have a taste for, this is what my grandmama made, and so I'm gonna,
Yeah.
Friday nights is fish fry. Came up in a household where my mama made spaghetti and fried fish every Friday.
Spaghetti and fried fish. Come on. And coleslaw.
And coleslaw every Friday. So I gotta do that because that's tradition. But if you
Traditions are
remember,
killing us. That's right.
I was gonna say, remember the movie Soul Food?
Killing us.
Killing us. Big Mama would have still been here if Big Mama was not consuming
Yep.
all of that rich food.
And I'm grateful that you're saying that this is no judgment, because it is not a
Mm-mm,
judgment.
no.
However, we do have to realize that our parents and our grandparents ate food according to what was available to them, right? We have now, you can get a recipe for all kind of good food on YouTube, wherever. You can call a friend and find out how to make some food,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
It's not, we don't have that excuse.
I know. And we have AI now.
You have now you really don't have an excuse.
AI,
Okay?
how do I? Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. And then when we get into the movement and why fitness is so
Yes.
important, right? I was
Yes.
thinking about, we talk about exercise all the time, but tapping,
Yes.
movement,
Mhm.
tapping,
Mhm. Mhm.
fitness. Why is that important? Because the central nervous system,
Mhm.
the the balance of that, the health of that, something that is never really discussed because we're a society, especially in the US, that's all about looks.
It's
Probably
all about how that, come on.
it's
If you
all
look
about
good, you
look.
must feel good. But that's not the truth.
That's not the truth. You have a
Mhm.
whole nervous system, your brain, your spinal cord. The first thing that was created in your mother's womb was a central nervous system that has been abused in some cases by life trauma. But what happens is it regulates everything. And so then, if you're having high anxiety and stress, and what do? We grab fast chips or cookies or
Yes.
whatever in order to answer to the anxiety, the stress, the things that the central nervous system is using just to signal to you that it's time to rest, that it's time to maybe meditate, be quiet, so fast.
Mhm. Mhm.
you know all of those are signals that the body is saying, hey, we need you to take a step back. And like you asked me, you're like, well, what's the solution? Fasting or detoxing?
Yes.
And the difference between the two, it's really the same. I like to think about the intention.
Okay.
you know so when I think about fasting, I'm like, oh, you know what, I have been on my phone too much. I could have been writing my chapters in my book.
Yeah, that's coming up. Yes, right.
What my 50-year-old self would tell my 21-year-old self, right?
Yes.
So I look at fast like just taking breaks from it may not necessarily be toxic things, but that there's an imbalance. When you have been out too many times this week, or you've been on the phone way too long, or you've been on
Mhm.
social media, and so you decide to I'm gonna fast.
That's right.
I use fasting to hear from God. I'm in a crossroad in my life. Or
Mhm.
in my situation in 2009, I said, I need to shut down any and everything because I need to hear clearly from the Creator
Yes.
how to heal myself. I have no idea. I have tried every diet, everything I knew to do that was popular back then. I tried it.
Yes.
So when I hear all these people with this Ozempic stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, you'll know in the next 10 years because you're the person that it's going to be a black box. It's going to be something. Okay.
It's going to be something. Yes.
Drug.
We just saw that example when we just went through all of the things being locked up for 2 years, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. And people,
Exactly.
oh, and the fallout from that. Okay, we're still dealing with the fallout.
Still dealing with the fallout. And I had an awesome opportunity to be on Marshawn's podcast and to be able
Yes.
to talk to the younger people because Ozempic was one of the things that they wanted to talk about. And I said, let me go down the list of things that I did in my 20s and 30s. See, so Ozempic is popular for you all, but let me tell you about some of the things that were similar as far as marketing of
Yep.
Ozempic. And I
Yep.
went through Metabolite, Fin, all the things that were popular.
Um,
You know, I
yep.
said this is nothing new, and you'll find out
Nothing
in the next
new.
few years. Some of the side effects and what it's gonna
Because
do.
they
So
will show up.
they will show up. So everything comes in the 14 years that I have been seeing clients. I've had clients that have tried all of the different drugs, that have had the operations and all of that, despite what I taught them to do. And guess what?
Yes. It
They
didn't
still,
work.
it didn't work. They still had to come back
Yes.
and detox
Yes. And
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 fast.
they still that's right. And deal with their spirit. We have a spirit that is our coexistent self that's waiting for us to turn in as a solution and get familiar. And when we get into that spirit, I mean, you can just talk to your body and tell it to release the weight.
Exactly, Mushu. So you're the example. Your story is so incredible.
That's what we're doing here. We're wanting people to realize that when we talk about ignite your soul, we really are talking about it's in you.
Absolutely.
We
The
just want to
answers
inspire you
are
to do that.
the answers are and once I made the decision to shut everything down, to fast, every
Hmm.
everything, the people, that's how I attracted you and the resources and everything that I needed in order to get me on that journey of healing.
Yes.
And I lost 30 pounds like the first 3 months. And
Wow.
by October, I was down 64 pounds.
Wow.
So it was, weight loss was the original reason. But when I
Hmm.
went on a fast, I saw there was a deeper purpose. The weight loss was just one of the symptoms.
And Dr. Tammy, I like to use the term weight release.
Ooh, I like that.
Because when we say loss, it's kind of like when you lose your keys, you got to find them.
Mhm.
So if you
Yeah,
lose weight, sometime you want to get back to that comfort zone.
I like
Because
that.
you mentioned it earlier, how weight is a form of protection.
Mm-hmm.
And
It
on a
is.
psychological level, many of us, and in particular women of color, our safety has been threatened so often
Yes.
that we almost feel like we have to be bulked up to take care of ourselves because we have not been in protective environment, or
That's
the men who have been around us have been harsh. So you can't be a petite frail woman in our community,
absolutely.
and that's we have to own that. We have to be responsible for that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Most of our homes don't have fathers in them,
Yes.
and unsafe people lurk around.
That's right.
And this is one of the reasons that young women tend to go into looking like a tomboy. I know for me, when I started getting breasts, I took an ace band-aid. I had to be 12, 13. I had to be like 13, 14. And I was like, oh no. 'Cause
Wow, because you didn't want the attention drawn.
I knew, and I wanted to still run with the boys.
Voice.
you know and this well, let me be clear. I grew up in an environment without a mother and without too much attention paid to me, so a mother would have noticed that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or a grandmother who was attentive would have noticed that, and I don't blame them for any of that. I now understand or overstand
Yeah.
why I came up in that family.
Yeah.
But young women today, we have to really shift our culture so
Yes.
that we can really save our children. We keep saying they're our future, but we're still passing down this same garbage that we grow up in.
Absolutely. And you sparked in me something about the childhood where everything starts, being able to, I'm thinking Sankofa, being able to go back. And thank you for the weight release. I wrote that down. I have to use it.
Yes,
I love
yes.
the weight release. But Sankofa, go back and get it. Think about when we were children, when the trauma happened, and as children, it's easier to grab food to self-soothe than
Mm.
anything because we're not teaching our children how to meditate, how to go
Yes.
within, how to
We
hear.
don't even teach them how to pray anymore.
That's true. Not even how to pray.
Yeah.
So the first and the easiest thing to do is to grab the food,
Yeah.
self-soothing. And as Black women, as everything you said, absolutely. I think about even now, I'll throw on some baggy sweats. As a matter of fact, as I was driving here to Iowa from
You
Atlanta,
have them baggy sweats.
I had baggy sweats on. I had a jacket, and I had my hair pulled up, and nothing cute, no
Yep.
earrings, no makeup,
No, I'm
because
not. I don't need the attention.
I
Yeah.
don't need the attention. I'm on the road as a woman by myself. I don't want anybody following me. I don't want anybody trying to talk to me. When I go get gas, I want to get gas. I want to get out. I do that now.
Wow. Yes.
So these are things that we need to, it's springtime, right? Spring cleaning. It's the
Yes.
best time to just sit back and think about the whys of why we do what we do. Why do we have the lower vibrational habits where we hurt ourselves or punish ourselves when we're not feeling our best? We kick
Mm-hmm.
ourselves by going to get foods that we know harm us. And then we don't do anything to get it out of our system.
Yeah, because you can do hacks. I mean, that's the thing. If you're gonna eat some fried food, and I don't suggest eating fried food, and I don't certainly not every day. But
Exactly.
guess what? Chlorophyll, a
Chlorophyll,
shot of chlorophyll,
liquid
will
chlorophyll.
literally just a shot of liquid chlorophyll that you need to have in your refrigerator
Mhm.
anyway. a,
Absolutely.
sh- right, a shot of liquid chlorophyll
Mhm.
will actually change the uric acid effects that the fried food has on your body.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you're going to wake up with joint pains and headaches, migraines. All of that's related to fried foods.
Absolutely. And guess what? Because another thing I was getting ready to say was the hot water with lemon in the morning or
Two, I do that as a regular.
to
Yes.
help. But what I was going to say was when we are putting like the liquid chlorophyll, like the sea moss,
The
I
sea moss.
love the
Keep
sea.
it in your refrigerator. That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the boss with the moss. I got to give him a plug, but that makes mine. I get mine fresh. But when we are putting high nutrition, I'm big on juicing. I'm big,
That's right. That's
you
right.
know,
Yes.
juicing your fruit, vegetables, but smoothies. When you're putting high nutrition in, the body is healing itself. Your taste buds start to change, and you begin to desire toxicity less.
You can't do. Matter of fact, my palate changed so much. I have a bitter palate now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I rarely want sweet, and when I do, it's kind of like dark chocolate. You know what I'm saying? It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, but mm-mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
your palate changes. So the goal is when you're fasting or detoxing, how you break the fast is more important than starting the fast.
Yes, I have hurt myself many a times.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yes.
You can create a healing crisis for yourself.
And the healing crisis is simply the body replacing the old tissue with the new tissue,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Mm-hmm.
good. We want to
Mm.
welcome it, but it is
Yes,
not comfortable.
it's not comfortable. And so you really do have to support it. You don't want to just say, "Oh, I can't wait to eat this. I can't wait."
Yeah.
No, you can wait. You can wait. You want to ease into that.
Yeah. And then the mindset, I mean, going into a fast or a detox, what are your intentions?
What are your intentions?
Because if my intentions are simply, it's springtime, everybody want to look good for the summer, I get it. If your intentions is simply, I want to lose 20 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
In order to lose the 20 pounds, I need to remove this, this, and this. Well, what do you think caused the 20 pounds? If you lose it, you're going to go and put it back in, you know,
Yeah.
the very things that cause you to hold on to the 20 pounds. So if you're
Wow.
releasing these foods, and some people's mind is, oh my goodness, that it's ridiculous to think that this is something long term. Well, then what's your intention? Just to release the 20 pounds for the summer? That's it? And put it back on. No judgment. It's just be clear about your intention.
And you're pointing to something that really is about um, our intent to love ourselves.
Hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Dr. Tammy, because it's kind of like we think that if I give myself everything that I was denied or everything that I've ever wanted, that's showing love. But that is not showing love.
It's not. And where does that come from?
Well, it comes from us not knowing how to love ourselves, for one thing.
Yeah.
And it also comes from us thinking that it's someone else's responsibility to love us.
Mm.
And so I can have an
Mm.
excuse if I say, "Oh, my mama didn't love me, my
Yeah.
daddy didn't love me,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
husband didn't love me."
Yeah.
So everybody who didn't love me now gives me permission to be a
Mm.
victim of unlove, when
Mm.
actually the only love you really need is what? Your own.
Oh. And why
You
is
are
it
love.
so hard? Because if we didn't see mama or grandmama do it, we don't really know what that looks
We
like.
don't know what that looked like. We saw them overwork. We
Right.
saw them kill themselves to try to give me a good life. But did they give themselves a good life?
Right.
They deserved a good life.
Yes. Yes.
So why would we turn around and then say, "Oh, I'm going to work so hard so my kids don't have to"? Excuse me. Yet they going to still have to. So
Exactly.
you have to make sure you demonstrate for them your own happiness and well-being,
Absolutely.
not a martyr. And I
Ex-
will die for you. Live for me.
exactly.
Live
Exactly.
for them.
Yes. Absolutely. And it starts with allowing your family to see you withdraw and say, I'm going to take some time to get in balance. I feel out of balance.
Yes.
And what are the signs of feeling out of balance? Well, physical signs could be, having acne on the skin, you're breaking out,
Mm-hmm.
being constipated, you haven't had, like
Mm-hmm.
you said, a bowel, not having regular bowel movements, you know,
Right.
putting on additional weight. I mean, there are, bad breath, bad odor coming from the skin. There are hair brittle, breaking, won't grow, nails,
Mm-hmm.
are brittle. There are signs that our bodies are out of balance.
Yes. My sign was that I had a lot of flatulence.
There you go. Definitely.
I remember we used to travel with Impact, and they used to call me Moot of the Big Winds. They said, "Let the window down, Moot just came."
Oh my goodness. You're like, it's a sign that I need.
It's And listen, I did not know it was a sign until it was just like, wait a minute now. And I went down to see, our Chinese doctor that we love down in Chinatown.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
he said, oh, yeah, your digestive system is way off,
Oh,
and you don't
yeah.
even, and I didn't have a weight problem, right?
Right,
And so you think that there's other things, but the
right.
flatulence was like, this is too often.
Yeah. My body is speaking to me. It's telling me
Yes.
something. Now, what are you going to
Yes.
do in order to hear what your body is saying? We're so quick to, oh, I'm going to go to the doctor. I need to run to the doctor. The doctor is here to prescribe medication,
Not healing.
not healing.
Yep.
So you're gonna stop the flatulence and then allow the body then to become sicker and sicker because it was trying to tell you something was off. And now
Mm-hmm.
long term you got polyps or diverticulitis or you got getting some inflammation, so there are repercussions to ignoring the signs of
Yes.
imbalance.
Mm-hmm.
And so I tell people all the time, people are like, oh my God, they look so healthy. They just dropped dead of a heart attack. There were signs.
They,
Don't
that's
just
right.
drop dead of a heart attack.
Any pain or discomfort,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's why Louise Hay. That's why I love Louise Hay.
Yes.
And I'm so grateful. I think I had to be about 29 or 30 when I discovered her. In that same box that I was talking about the other
Dr.
day when
Chopra,
we were talking,
Dr.
when
Chopra,
yeah,
Dr. Chopra.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, in that same box was Louise Hay,
Okay.
and I had no idea that there is a book that will show you symptoms and then tell you what your emotional or psychological issue is, and then give you affirmations to help clear that up.
Oh my God. When you introduced that to us in our Master Force Leadership International, it was a game changer for me.
Yes, it was a game changer for me. I was like, hold up, wait a minute. You're telling me that
Yeah.
the issue that I'm having in my uterus is because I'm in a bad relationship?
And it's so accurate. It is accurate.
Okay, because the doctor was ready to do surgery. And I said, hold up, Jim Shoe. Let me apply this over here. I'll get back to you in a minute. Oh, we don't have a minute. I said, no, I will get back to you. You do not operate on me
Right.
you don't get to have authority
Exactly.
here.
Exactly.
That white coat don't give you authority here.
Exactly.
I remember him saying, I'm more concerned. I'm more, what did he say? He said very arrogantly, I consider your health more than what you do.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
Yes.
And I have a lot of friends that are medical doctors, and I tell people all the time, I am not against medical doctors. I
No.
just don't give them the authority to decide what my health plan is going to be.
Give me the
Give me
prognosis,
the prognosis.
and then I will probably look at traditional Chinese medicine for the solution.
Absolutely.
When I remember going to Northwestern, I had 8 tumors when my mother died. I had
Mm,
8 tumors, like, ooh, and they said,
mhm.
oh, we want to do this and this. Well, you got good insurance when they say they want to do
Oh,
something,
yeah.
right? If you don't have no insurance, they tell you go home, you take aspirin and go to bed, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, just write it up. I took that to Dr. Young, and he said, you want tea or peel? I said tea. He said the tea is bitter. I said, Dr. Young, I've been coming to you for 20 years. I know the tea is bitter. I started drinking that tea. 3 days later, they plopping out, plop, plop,
Yeah.
fizz,
Yeah. Absolutely.
dropping out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I was like, what is that? I scooped one up to share with my daughter. She's like, Ma, I don't want to see that thing. Then she said, let me see. Let me see. You know what I mean? Because we were like, what?
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. I remember when my fibroids had disintegrated. Well, when they told me my fibroids had disintegrated, they said, "Oh, looks like you had fibroids and they disintegrated. What did you do?" I had adopted a vegan diet, and
Yes,
I guess I just starved the fibroids because
that's right.
the tumors and the cysts, the fibroids, all they are is the lining that is trying to protect the body, the bloodstream from toxins. So they will wrap themselves depending on the areas of the body. So with the fibroids, the endothelial lining will encapsulate the toxic ooze, the you're putting
Hmm.
in tampons or whatever, the IUDs or whatever you put in that's toxic in order to protect the body. So then all of a sudden there's this cyst or this tumor, this fibroid, and you do the opposite of what caused it to develop in the first place. That
That's right.
detoxed you.
And the other part of that too, looking at Louise Hay,
Mm-hmm.
fibroids who tend to be mostly with women of color,
Mm-hmm.
right? They usually start to dissolve on their own after age 50,
Mm-hmm.
but also it says in there, we don't feel as though our gifts are appreciated or welcome.
As the
Yeah,
fibroid,
into the world, right?
the
So I had to
metaphysical
train
causation.
myself. That's right. I had to train myself
Mhm.
to give my gifts whether people received them or not.
Mhm.
So I that's why you see me constantly in the growing of our work that we're doing,
Yeah.
right? It may be many generations before people say, "Oh, what were they up to?" But
Yeah.
we're here to give of ourselves. But
Yes.
because we've been taught to monetize our gifts,
Yeah.
we hold back.
We do.
If you don't want to pay for it, I'm not going to do it for you. I'm not going to give it to you.
True.
That's not what this world is about. Your soul, your spirit wants you to be generous with your
Yes.
gifts. They're
Yeah.
gifts to you for you
Yeah.
to share.
To share.
The
Absolutely.
world that monetized you is the same world that monetized water and trying to sell it to you.
That's
They
right.
monetizing all the land,
Yeah.
right? You who owns the land? This is
Yes.
our earth, and I gotta pay.
Mm-hmm. 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 And then Mushemsu, you just triggered. There are those that give their gifts away to those they're not supposed to give them to, that don't value or
That's
appreciate,
that's right.
and then they're depleted
They're
because
depleted.
there's
That's
not
right.
the mutual exchange. Because what we do, and I hate to say it, but what we do is when we want a man, sorry, I got to go here. We want a
Yep.
man, and we want to give all our gifts and challenge time.
Come on.
And that's not what he didn't ask you for it. He was
Nope.
just trying to have sex. And you want to give your it's hard to talk about food and not talk about sex because it's
It's because they bring the same kind of that's it. That real, but by design,
by design,
the
right?
substance on both parts. Exactly.
Food and sex causes the downfall of man. Food and
Mm,
sex. Okay,
mm. That
so
that apple talk that the apple start.
that apple. Look, Kiana wanted us to bring the airy spire. We bring an airy spire.
Come on, baby. When you walked in here with that red on, I'm like, whoa, the heat is on.
my birthday is next week. It's Aries season, spring equinox. I'm like,
Come
you're
on.
gonna bring it today. You're gonna bring it.
We gotta bring it. So, Dr. Tammye, and just really quick, you mentioned juicing and smoothing. What are some
Mhm.
quick ways that people can get into juicing and smoothies? And because this is the time of year to start
Absolutely.
really releasing, it's natural to put on weight during the winter time. That's natural because the body needs to stay hot.
Mhm.
not excess weight, but just,
Yeah.
so now to release that 10 or 15 pounds, you
Yeah.
can start eating lighter differently. What's the
Mhm.
best ways for people to get into juicing in smoothies? Some of them.
Well, what I like to say for those who have medical conditions, meaning that you are on medication, okay,
Hmm.
you cannot do the same things that someone who is not on meds. So what that looks like is if you are, a diabetic, you are not able to just make up 32 ounces of any type of fruit juice. Like you just need to kind of stay away from that, and you should eat your fruit. But
Because of the fiber content.
because of the fiber, and yeah, because of the fiber content, absolutely.
Hmm. Hmm.
Fruits are cleansers of the body. That's why it's good to be able to start your day off, have your hot water with lemon, have your fruit, because the body is naturally cleansing itself usually up until about 11 a.m. It's just naturally
That's
cleansing.
right.
So
Hmm.
being
And
able to
that's why
get
when
in,
people talk about I eat breakfast, you don't have to eat breakfast.
you don't need
Drink
breakfast.
breakfast. Mm-mm.
Yeah, just think of, again, it's about the intention. You want to give your body fuel. All right. There are people that work out, I'm with a community, that works out all the time. Okay. So
Yes.
after you work
Yes.
out, you need something with some, you need something to, especially if you're ready to go to work. You need gasoline in the car because you just expended this energy. And in many cases, they do fasted, cardio. I know I do.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
get you a nice fresh green juice with phytonutrients.
Hmm.
Have a piece of fruit. The reason I said green juice with the phytonutrients is because the vegetables are the builders of the cells and tissue of the body. It's going to help you with recovery. It's okay to have a smoothie in the morning because with your smoothie, again, it's going to help the body cleanse. Digestion is not um, activated as much when you're juicing than when you're doing smoothies. But again, if you're working out in the morning and you may not be able to have lunch until 12 or 1 because you have a busy schedule, grab you
Yes.
some fruit, grab you a smoothie. If you get a cold press juicer, I have the Nama right now. You can meal prep with your juices and make up
Yep.
your juices for 3 days. And that way, all you got to do is grab it out the fridge. Grab your salad. The original fast food, Mushemsu, was fruits.
Yeah. Fruit.
Just you
Grab
go
a
and
banana, but grab an apple. Yes. Hmm.
yes, some nuts. My mom, them, they had pecan trees and walnut trees, and you know,
Yes.
yeah. So that's natural. The body can process and digest that. The body's like, ooh, because it's live. Your body is live. We're of billions of cells of molecules collapsing together. We have billions of cells. So they're alive.
Billions.
So when
Hmm.
you're putting in something that's alive, the body is like, I know what to do with this. I can process this. The
Yes.
nutrients can go into the cellular level of the body. We can keep the cells alkaline, the body alkaline, keeping that fresh water so that we're keeping the immune system strong.
Hmm.
Because when a super virus or a super whatever comes out again, because it will, if your
Yep.
immune system is strong already,
You don't have to worry about it.
it will pass right through.
Hmm. I've been to two places this year and had people call. Oh, I'm calling to tell you I tested positive for. I just don't want you. I want you go get a test. Why? Well, first of all, I need to go get a test. You know what I mean? If something's going on with my body, I'm gonna listen to my body. I'm not gonna listen to something on a piece of stick.
Yeah. And I'm gonna do the same thing, regardless of if I take a test or not. It's gonna be the same remedies. It's gonna be
Yeah.
the same stuff.
So I don't need, and that's another form of programming, though,
Mhm, mhm,
Dr.
mhm,
Tammy.
mhm.
It really is. Let me get you used to going over here to take a test to tell you that
Yes,
something's going on instead of listening to your body.
absolutely true. Absolutely true. And then fear is instilled.
And then fear is instilled.
Oh my God.
And then they come back and say, well, we find out that 90% of those tests were false positives.
Uh, we tried to tell them.
Fact.
We tried
We,
to tell
we
them.
tried, oh, I lost so many people. I'm like,
Oh,
oh, because they were like, you did that. Yeah, okay.
oh yeah. We tried to tell them.
We
You are
tried
the
to.
studies. You do know you are the studies. But
Yep,
after a while, I said my piece and I said, hey, you have choice, but you can never say you were not told. That was that.
that's right.
My conscience was clear. I
Mine
did
too.
my part. And we see
Yeah.
people, unfortunately, that are dropping dead. We see them just dropping dead, having heart
And
attacks.
having illnesses and all
Young,
kind of things that
young
was
people.
not in the program, but they've introduced this foreign element into their body,
Mhm.
and your
Absolutely.
body is trying to get rid of it.
Absolutely. And the immune
Mm.
system is weakened.
Yeah, yeah,
High quality nutrition for those who did get the vaccine. I mean, you really should be practicing and putting in high nutritional foods. I don't know how that will impact you long term, but with you have a fighting chance if you are putting in high quality nutrition. I'm big on alkaline water, but now I just
yes.
tell people just select a water that tastes good and that you don't have a problem drinking. Just
Mm.
you got to go get the no zero filter, whatever you call those filtered um, zero, whatever those things are. They're like containers that have the filter in it, and you put the tap water in, and then it's supposed
That's what I have. I have something just, and I've been using that. You
to.
know, since
Yeah,
even before when you you started delivering me water 14 years ago.
yeah. Right. Alkaline. Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
between you and Dr. Hoppy, I always had alkaline water.
yeah.
And
Me.
so then after that, I went to the filter, the alkaline filter. But you're right, Dr. Tammye, and people don't realize that when we're talking about tap water,
Mm-hmm.
we're not trying. It's not a conspiracy. And the reason that I know this, when I had Tia, and I nursed all of my children, but
Yes.
she every time I would nurse her, she would spit up. And I called the doctor, the OB-GYN. I said, my daughter, she's spitting up every time she nurse. And you know what the doctor told me?
What?
Was stop nursing her. Well, what is she supposed to eat? What is she, give her about. I'm thinking, what? So I called the midwife
Yes.
and I told her what the doctor said. She said, oh, they just don't even know. I said, well, what would you recommend? And she said, do you drink water out of the faucet? I said, I do. She said, stop it.
Ah,
Buy spring water.
see,
So 40, I know I've been drinking spring water for 40 years
40
because
years.
when I tell you that day it stopped. It's, as soon as you take in that water, it's going to come through your milk. She cleaned up just like that.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And the doctor said, stop nursing her. And your solution is put her on formula. And that brother say, do you know that nursing is better than formula?
Yeah, yeah, Mo. That was 40 years ago. And you just triggered in my mind. My dad used to, on the side, sell water filters. So we
Mm,
always had some type of filtration system before I even knew why
wow.
we were doing it.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
amazing.
And probably when you went to college, your water changed
Probably
too.
so. Central Illinois.
Hmm.
It
And your
probably.
lymphatic system, yep,
Yeah, all
became
of that.
compromised. All of that.
Along with the college food and the freshman 15.
Along with the girl that freshman 10, 15, I called myself being a vegetarian back then, and I lived off of cheese, pizza, pancakes. I was,
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Oh
crazy.
my goodness. I
No
worked
knowledge.
there.
Right. I had no knowledge of
Mhm.
nutrition.
No knowledge. And it was like, woohoo, because my mom always cooked. So she didn't believe in fast food. She didn't believe in processed food. She always cooked. So college was like, woohoo, like we can just eat whatever we want to eat. And it's foods we had never really tasted. And, she was from
Mm-hmm.
the South. So we were limited in some of the foods that we would eat. So we went crazy. And it
Mm-hmm.
was poison.
Now, Dr. Tammy, I don't know if you have an answer for this, but a question was asked, how can someone detox from the jab? What is something that they can do? Do you have any
Mhm.
remedies for that?
So I would, because I got this from my naturopath, Dr. Derek Williams. So
Yes.
I would have to defer them to him. He actually has a concoction that he has been helping people with,
Yes.
because there is a combination. It's not a
There is a combination.
drink this and yeah, there's an actual program. So Dr. Derek Williams, and whoever, I don't, do you see the name of the person?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay. I'm going to give you, he's actually located in Illinois. And yeah, give him a call and let him know that you you were talking to me and I referred you. But his number is area code 708-372-8084. He is a naturopathic doctor and a colonic hygienist. So there
Mm-hmm.
is an actual program for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And
Thank you for the question. That's a great question.
that's a great question. And I would suggest that people really look to do that. And there are many other solutions out there, and it's
Mhm.
worth investigating. And I would talk to your alternative doctors.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Because there
Yeah.
are there are things out there that will help to detox the cells. I
Hmm.
know that for me, when I went to Ghana, I had to get the yellow fever back. It wasn't an option.
Yes, that's right. Hmm.
Yeah, and when I got back, I fasted. I did a water fast, and I did garlic. That was, and then I had ended up with malaria, so it just all worked out perfectly because I
Hmm.
was fine. I didn't die, obviously, from malaria, but after having a few days, I did have to go to the hospital. But after about 3 days on the antibiotic, it cleared the infection, and then I detox again. So
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
get it out.
Always the detox. It's
Yeah.
always the detox. And one of the things too that you were pointing to earlier, about when you were talking about not eating breakfast, and then even you mentioned sleep earlier. Most of us do not study circadian rhythm enough to
Mm-hmm.
actually appreciate that our body, when we're in sync with the rhythm of the universe, we
Yes.
can really stay inside of a conversation of optimal health. You
Yeah.
want to talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So we have cycles. So just like this is spring equinox and we're going into a new cycle, there are actually cycles of life. And um, the circadian rhythm is the body's cycle. It's basically um, telling you when you should sleep, when you should eat. Like they're just the different cycles. So when I mention that the body is cleansing itself up until 11 a.m. That's just like the cleansing cycle. But the body heals by resting. So we have
Mm-hmm.
the sleep cycles. And generally, they tell you that you should have at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep for healing purposes. But the body, right around, I think it's around maybe 9 or 10 o'clock, will start getting prepared to heal and repair. And what that looks like is the brain and the gut will start communicating. The kidneys will start to relax. And, so your organs of the body, the bloodstream, the flow, right around that 2 or 3 o'clock hour, you get into that rapid eye movement, the REM
Yes.
stage. That's the deepest cycle. That's the area that you want to achieve every night if you can, because that's when everything starts to align in your body. When you go deep into the REM stage. And that stage normally lasts about, I think for REM, is it like 30 minutes to an hour, something like that, when you go into that deep state. And then,
Right.
yeah, and then the body, naturally, when it comes out of that, maybe around 5 or 6 a.m., the body's still cleansing, but, we start, getting up and starting getting aroused and that type of thing. And then, yeah, so you have all the different cycles that your body is then in alignment with the universe. But in order to,
Alignment with the universe.
yeah,
Exactly.
but in
Mm-hmm.
order to really achieve that, grounding is necessary to be able to get your circadian rhythm to be in alignment. Grounding. And what is that? That is being able to take your shoes and socks off and planting your feet on the earth, on the
Mm.
in the dirt if
Mm.
you can, in the dirt. So
In
we're
the
getting
dirt.
ready for the eclipse. The
Oh,
eclipse,
yes. And people, you have got to study that eclipse. This is not a normal eclipse.
and I think this is the last one. I was talking to my partner.
You're talking about the one in April that's coming up. There's one
April
tomorrow,
8th.
and then there's the April
Yeah,
8th.
because there are different ones, but the total
Yeah, because there's one tomorrow, right?
is April 8th.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
hmm
So, that is, this is all about alignment right now. So when I get back to Atlanta, I'm going to be doing a water fast. This is all in alignment because this is a transformational year. So you
Right.
want to make sure your diet is in order. You want to make sure that your mind is focused. You want to make sure you're not harboring unforgiveness or any negative emotions. That's the stress, let it go. Yeah, like this is the time to be in alignment. As a diabetic, it's recommended I don't walk barefoot. How would you suggest I get the same effect without going barefoot? Well, that
Mm.
is, and that's a great question. So walking around barefoot, that just means because, obviously you can get
Get
cut,
something in.
some type
Yep.
of your foot, some type of injury. So
hmm
grounding is really about just making sure you're in a place that's safe, that's clear, that you can see
When
what's
you put your feet in the sand, that's grounding.
in.
The
Exactly.
beach.
Yeah, because that's healing. So if
Yes.
you're so, and again, this is not judgment because I want to make sure that this does not sound judgmental, but it's, think about if you cannot connect with something that can heal you, because see, this is healing. We're talking about healing. We're not talking about
Yes.
symptoms. Then we have to do a detox or a fast just to change the brain,
Come
because
on.
the
Come
the
on.
the fact that we do have diabetes has some deeper meaning and some deeper work needs to happen. But it's not for us to walk around in fear of doing things as if that's what's going to cause us to get worse, because that's not what this is about, right?
No.
The
Yeah.
body, someone who has diabetes, is you just overwork your pancreas. And the pancreas is like, you know what, I'm tired because you keep putting food in me. I don't need food. I have to keep producing insulin. The beta cells are worn out. And now they got to give you artificial insulin because you overwork your pancreas. I mean, that's really what that is. But because cells regenerate, you can your pancreas can come back, you can heal, you can reverse diabetes,
Absolutely.
you know.
I want to, Louise Hay.
Yeah.
and Louise Hay says that if you're dealing with the dis-ease
Mm,
of diabetes, it means that you have gotten to a point in your life where there is no sweetness left.
mm,
So that means that we allow our vibration to stay in a state of sadness,
mm.
of regret, of longing, and you can rise up out of that because those are emotional things. Those are psychological things.
Absolutely. And
And
that's
so
why
you have to shift. Yeah.
Master Force coaches are so dope because
Yes.
we can help you with that. It's
Yes.
I was talking to my BFF who's, in Singapore, and what we talked about was we need to be childlike. We need to have
Yes.
fun. And you represent this well. So I tell you my role model.
Children that they keep trying to tell me to grow up.
But that is the problem. The problem is somewhere down the line, we're adults and we're supposed to walk around and be stuck like stick in the mud, and we're supposed to be professional and we're supposed to be this and that, and we don't have fun.
That's right.
We take things so personally.
Way too serious.
Yeah, and kids, they forget. Like they'll be a man and then they'll forget and then they're playing again, and we want to hold on to stuff that it's not even ours, and just
Mm-mm. And all we do is stay focused on the negative side of the world and the negative side. You can't keep looking over there and think you're gonna be happy.
no, 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 no. No, I feel I've never had diabetes, but I feel like when I had high blood pressure, high cholesterol, I was so what does Louise say? I forgot about high blood pressure.
High blood pressure is actually being too you're focused on success. You're being too hyper.
Yeah.
You're being too, what's the word? Wait, I gotta achieve.
Yeah,
You're achievement
that
oriented,
was me. That was me.
Yeah, anything with the heart is about you're trading out your happiness for status.
Yep. And that is exactly what I was doing. That was
Hmm.
exactly until I made that decision. And when I made the
Yeah.
decision to shut everything down, and right after that, I left the pharmaceutical industry and started Restored so that I could educate the community and let
Yes.
them know, you don't have to suffer. You do not have to walk around suffering. Oh my God, there are answers.
There are solutions. We
Ooh,
have them.
yes,
Yes.
yes,
Available.
yes. And
They're
I'm so
available.
grateful. I say this all the time, Mushemsu, that I'm so grateful that I we attracted each other, because that I mean, just I don't know where I would be. I just
Well,
don't know.
yes, I'm grateful to Dr. Tammy because you single-handedly have invited so many people to go through Master Force that has been an inspiration for me to keep remembering to stay on this mission. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Like this is what we are to do, and our people don't even know that they need what we have.
oh, I didn't
They
know.
don't know. And then we're up against the Beyoncés of the world, the Cat Williams, all this entertain. We're not here to entertain you. So
No.
they're not checking for us. So we
Right.
have to keep putting ourselves out there. And we've been doing this free seminar for what, 14
Yeah,
years?
14 years. Yeah.
Yeah, 90.
Mhm.
I think I have 192 subscriptions
Hmm.
on my YouTube channel,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because we're not
Yeah.
nobody's checking.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's okay because what we say is the people that need to know
That's right.
find this.
That's right.
And they
Because
have to be in that
engagement is
frequency.
happening. It's happening.
Yeah.
It is happening.
Yes.
We're in position for wherever or whenever they get it, because we have some bigger things that we have to do, but the videos are
Yes.
here. So,
They're there. That's right.
yeah.
And they can go back and look and see. And
Mhm.
at some point we get moved in another direction because, you talked about being childlike. This is for the people that love to go to the Bible, to the Word. It says you cannot enter heaven without having the heart of a child,
Woo!
right?
Wow. Wow. It does.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the
So
word. That's the
that's
word.
the word for y'all that follow the word, and y'all know that
Yeah, I
right,
know. I know. But
you
yeah,
know.
it's
So,
in the Bible.
but for those people that need that confirmation,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
you want to get into, in our bodies. I have to bring this book up.
Okay.
The power of your subconscious mind.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because our bodies are designed to heal, and we have to actually
Mhm,
create, like you said, that frequency, that vibration to
mhm.
get it done. And that means releasing a lot of our connection to the traditions of our childhood, which also means the food.
It does. And do you know, Mushemsu, when I talk to people and they tell me they have, certain diseases, and I say, oh, you can heal yourself of that, it's like a blank. There's
Yes.
no response. Like they never thought about it because the mom and the grandmama have it. So it just makes sense. Or the dad had it, grandfather. It just makes sense that I'm going to have it. And
Right.
they don't believe.
Yeah. They
So
don't believe.
that's why I wanted the conversation tonight to be for those that just don't believe. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how you feeling right now.
Hmm.
Let's talk about the choices that you're making consciously and subconsciously in order to have the body that you have today.
Hmm. And you know, we actually get to design our bodies.
We do. We do.
And
We do.
I have to bring up this other book because it's one of our favorites too. Your Soul's Plan by
Yes.
Doctor by and he is he a doctor? I don't think he's a doctor, but Robert Schwartz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Because sometimes you know, we'll look at the book, we'll look at the word, but we won't look at other material
We don't look
that
at
can
other
give us
material.
insight
Absolutely.
beyond that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, when you introduced that book through Masterforce, I have to put the plug. Uh, um, what came to me was again, when, we're born, we are brought into this world with this soul plan that we have to that we discover. But
Yes.
before we are even, aware that this exists, obviously there's programming that has happened. And based on that, in many cases, that the soul is not even thought about or recognized or even acknowledged. And just to put a disclaimer out here to parents, your children are, we're guardians, we're coaches. Your children are coming into this earth with a soul plan that we are
Yep.
here to support, and they've chosen us to
Yep.
support.
Yep.
So with the soul plan, I believe that at some point that awakening or that awareness happens, like, your soul starts speaking to you. You're like, what's that? Right? And sometimes we're like, oh, my gut told me, or my spirit told me.
Yep.
But it's the stirring of the soul. So I I believe, because there are many people that I talk to that say, I don't know my purpose. I don't know why I'm here.
Hmm.
which again, fasting, detoxing, these are things that help to discover that, you know. Um, but once you tap into why you are here, what your plan is about, things start making sense. You start seeing, oh, this is why I had to go through this. This is why I had to have this
Yes.
relationship. This,
Yes.
I learned this when I had this accident. This is what caused me to then make this choice. And this is how I'm sitting here today. Because when we discover that soul plane, we can be childlike.
Yes.
We
And
can
we're
be.
not comparing ourselves to other people. Your soul plan is not the same as mine,
Mm, not at all. Not at all.
you
And it
know, and
relieves the
we get to
stress.
play together.
Yeah. We don't have to yeah, we're not competing. It relieves the
No.
stress of me competing with you, because now I know, or either I'm busy discovering it or I'm busy operating in it or whatever have you, that I don't have time to judge you and what you're doing.
Yes.
Now, if we're coming together, it's okay. It's exciting because it's like, oh, our journeys have come together for a reason. Oh, let's discover what that is.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
childlike.
Yes. And
But
curiosity. It's fun,
it's
you
fun.
know?
It's fun.
Hmm.
And it's not gender specific.
No, not at all.
So sometimes, we discover, because it's a male or whatever, the sexual preference is, we think, oh, this is my husband. This is my man.
And
And
it doesn't have to be that.
it doesn't have to be that. But knowing and understanding the soul plan even guides us into what we should be putting in our bodies. Right? It's all connected.
Yes. And it's really when you just mentioned about the gut feeling, so many of us said, I should have followed my first mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's your spirit talking
It's
to
your
you.
spirit talking. It
And
is.
if you keep shutting it down,
Yeah.
at some point you can't hear it at all. That's
Mm-hmm.
again going back to the word, that still small voice
Small.
can't get through because you have all of this noise.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And when you were talking about the book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, knowing
Hmm.
and understanding, 80% of what you do is
It's your
from your
subconscious.
subconscious.
Yeah. That's why when people say you only use 10% of your brain, yeah, because you don't even know how to tap into the rest of it.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
And we
Absolutely.
do teach that at Masterforce. How
Telling y'all.
the genius factor. We alive in that genius factor. Yeah,
Yeah.
people be, how you do that? Because I operate on a completely different frequency than the rest of you know what I'm saying? And
Yes,
you do too.
absolutely.
So the people around us, they come and go really quick.
Yes, we do. We do. And it's
They
okay.
come and go really quick. Yes, and it's quite all right.
Because
Exactly.
we
Because
overstand it. We overstand. And
yes,
again, it's no judgment,
no
because we
judgment.
know who we are and why we are here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it matters that, the easier you can let things go,
Hmm.
the easier it is for you to demonstrate that you trust the universe, you trust the process.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
the information comes to your soul, and you can not like something, but that don't mean that you should not have. You know what I mean? People say, "Oh, I don't like how she does that." Listen, I cannot like you and still receive the information that you share.
Yes. Again, that emotion.
That emotion will shut you
That
down.
Mhm. Mhm. That's why meditation, breath
Yeah.
work, meditation, all those are go tos along with the detox and fasting. Those should be our go tos before we make decisions about anything, before we make decisions about what we're going to eat, before we
Yep.
make business decisions,
Yep.
before it's the breath work and the meditation.
breath work and meditation. Those are the first two things that I do upon opening my eyes.
Yes. Yes.
Meditation and breath work.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And then just doing a body scan, just checking in and seeing, what is going on,
Yeah.
and then I set my day.
And then,
But I want to be present to, yes,
and that's how
you
I
know.
can discover what my soul is speaking to me as well,
Hmm.
instead of my head trying to make decisions. When you get up and you're on your phone and you're all the
The
influences,
habits
the
jump in.
habits,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and then that
We
is,
have to that's right. We have to replace our habits with rituals.
there you go.
And rituals are intentional ways to ignite your spirit. Spiritual.
Spiritual. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like
So instead of just, habitually doing something, you want to get
it.
into the ritual side of it,
Because
you know.
that is where the discipline comes in, and that's what prevents you from going out and eating
The
toxicity,
wrong stuff.
the wrong
Yes.
stuff, causing disease. I say this all the time. Disease is caused by, I got this from Dr. Derek Williams, my naturopath, dehydration. A lot of
Hmm.
our elderly people are dying from dehydration, not necessarily disease, because as we
Yeah.
get older, we our thirst sensor
Yeah.
becomes less sensitive, and so we don't.
Yes.
But if you've created a ritual of having so much water a day, then you don't have to go by, because by the
You
time you
don't.
feel thirsty, you're already dehydrated anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. By the time your lips feel like dry, whatever, yeah, you dehydrated.
You're
You
already
just.
dehydrated. So
Hmm.
dehydration is the number one cause of disease. The second is the lack of nutrients.
Hmm.
We're just not getting. We talked about this, Mushemsu, of now having to add supplements because the food just does not have enough nutrition. The
It's
high
not enough.
nutritional
That's right.
food, because of the soil, and all of what's happening with the soil. So we have to add sometimes some herbs, some things to help to support the nutrition. Supplements supplement a good diet. I see people that eat garbage and they want to pop all these supplements. Supplements supplement a good diet. So
That's
that's
right.
lack of
Yes.
nutrients. And then
And you
toxicity.
and
Mhm.
toxicity. I was going to say I did not know, and this is again why we have to experience some of the things.
Mhm.
I didn't. When I turned 60, and I've always been on a conversation of optimal health. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? That was kind of like
Mhm.
part of my mission.
Mhm.
When I turned 60 and I was walking down the street in Las Vegas and I went to cross the street and all of a sudden I just fell to the ground. Boom.
Mhm.
What? And
Mhm.
I've learned to lay still instead of jump up, right? So you can check yourself. So, gentleman got out of his car and helped me. And I walked home and it bothered me like, what caused that? So, of course, I called my mentors, and said, hey, this is happening. This is happening. And they said, well, sometimes as you get older, there's the imbalance. And no, you know what it was? Nutritional deficiency, because after 60, calcium stops in your body. All of these different minerals, they kind of begin to deplete. They're
Mm.
not readily available. So you have to go on a system of regeneration.
Mm.
You have to now supplement to regenerate your cells,
Wow.
right? If you don't supplement to regenerate your cells, that's what causes the whole aging thing that people say, oh, you premature aging. Yeah, you need to supplement.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, and all these people getting hip replacement supplements. Those are
So,
supplements. You
yes.
need nutrients.
Yes.
And
Yes.
there's so much information out here. You study yourself.
Yes.
Study or get a coach. Get someone that has so many sometimes I don't even want to teach Dr. Tammye because I'm like, I started teaching this stuff over 35 years ago, but now it's tons of people doing it.
Yeah. I'm in the same position.
Yeah.
I just don't do the detox classes like I used to. I do more transformative programs now.
Yes.
And I do life coaching, but there's so many people. And like I said, you have AI, and I'm at that place where it's been a
Yeah.
long time. It's been 14.
It's been a long time. That's right, right, right. So we don't, if you really want to make a difference, but at the same time, I was talking to my son this morning. I said, my mid-year is 75 because my intention is 150.
Okay, I
Okay.
hear you.
So, why? Because my mission is to make a difference in how we take care and educate children. And we are nowhere near that.
No, we are
I'm
not.
66, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I gotta be here for a minute. So optimal health is critical,
Yes, it is.
mission critical.
Yes, yes, and I love on Facebook and Instagram how you post in optimal health the nutritional facts, because we want to keep our minds focused on the positive things. And so when it comes to the body, and that's what I love reading about the body. I love learning new things, but those what you give us in the because that is that open to everyone or just
It is. It's a
masterclass?
public group coaching for optimal health and longevity. It
Yeah,
is,
I
yeah, and
love.
nutrition. Yeah. hmm It's
Yeah, because
called
your
coaching for
minds.
optimal health,
Mhm,
nutrition, and longevity. Yeah.
mhm.
hmm
I love
Are
that
one of
group
them.
because when I see the post, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a great reminder because there's so much information. And like what you're talking
Yes.
about over 60, for me, going into menopause, I believe,
Yeah.
either
Yeah. Right.
menopause or
hmm
whatever. But it was important for me to supplement what I was doing with herbs, the ashwagandha, the black,
Yes, absolutely.
so that
Wormwood,
yeah.
royal jelly,
Mhm,
bee
mhm,
pollen,
mhm.
maca powder is so many different things that you need. And whether you're sexually active or not, you
Mhm.
still need to take care of your reproductive organs because they balance your hormonal levels.
Yes. And what does that mean?
That means it's taking care of everything. It's taking care of all of the different systems in your body.
Yes. You have to stimulate your hormones. Yes. Hmm.
So part of our work is to, I don't know, I know people say that young people don't listen to us and that kind of thing. I don't find that to be true. But the thing is to keep putting the information out
Yes. And modeling it. Like,
and
well, you
modeling
look
it.
like you are in your, or act like you are 60 nothing. You don't. So young people,
Thank
they
you.
listen to you because they're like, oh, she's not just saying do as I say and not as I do. She's doing it and she's modeling it, and I'm gonna listen.
Thank
Yeah,
you, Dr.
that's
Tam.
why you're impactful. So people that say that children don't listen is because they're not influencers and they're not impactful and they're not walking the walk. And
hmm
children are so discerning.
They're so discerning, and I listen to them too. I learned a long time ago from my own children that they teach me. They came to remind me. My children have actually created me as
Mhm.
I still do. I mean,
Mhm.
I have to ask them to be mommy. Can I please be mommy? And now my five grandchildren think they get to rule me too. I'm like, oh, geez, really? You know,
Yeah.
which is fine because that keeps me, if your close relationships are a mirror of
Yeah.
who you are,
Yes.
then
Yeah.
you get to see that beauty in that love on a regular basis. then
Yeah.
you know that you're doing something that matters for yourself.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
You know, and I'm saying for yourself because too many times we leave ourselves out of the equation and we
Mm.
want to try to make everybody else happy
Yeah. Yeah.
and think that somebody else is supposed to make us happy, but actually you got to start with you.
Absolutely. You gotta start with you.
You know,
Yeah. I think about even with me having my dog, and there's certain things that I'm just not gonna allow my dog to have. And I had to think about, well, if you won't allow your dog to have, you shouldn't have it either. Right?
really? Like what? I mean, you
Like
eat certain.
chocolate.
Oh, yeah, but dogs and chocolate are different. And dark chocolate for us really is, it really is a calming effect. And it's a high level of magnesium in chocolate. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, it can be a good sleep aid along with pistachio nuts and what is it,
The
chamomile tea?
chamomile. Oh yeah. Hmm.
Chamomile tea. Yeah,
Hmm.
all three of those together, you'll sleep like a baby.
Sleep like a baby. I
But
have
you
to
gotta
try
get the
that.
real dark chocolate, Dr.
Yeah,
Tammy,
I
not
usually don't
milk
like that.
chocolate.
I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, that's the problem.
That's the problem.
Like, I'm on the journey with y'all. That's why I said I'm not here to judge you. We are all on this journey.
No, we all listen. When I woke up this year, I woke up January 1st and sat up and said, "Oh, this is a dry year."
Okay.
And it just, no alcohol, right? It was just like, I'm not going to drink alcohol this year. Well, the next day was my birthday. And what did everybody bring? Here's this. Here's a bottle of wine. Here's, you know. And
Yeah.
so, and then I moved, right? And so I have all these bottles of wine, and somebody said, well, you don't drink? I said, no. They said, well, why do you have all this wine?
I gifts.
Why do you have all these bottles? Long story, right? But I'm thinking if company comes, they're I have
Yeah.
beautiful glasses and wine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the point that I'm making is listening to your spirit and your soul,
Yeah.
right, can actually help you move. I didn't wake up and say, "Oh, I need to quit drinking." No, it was just like, "Oh, it's a dry year."
Yeah. Yeah.
Haven't felt any issue about it. No temptation. No, none of that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. I chocolate is mine. I
Love
never
me
do
some dark chocolate, but not the chocolate that you talk about.
that.
Dr. Hoppy told me a long time ago I had to give up cheese and milk chocolate. Well, I
Oh,
gave up the milk chocolate, and
yeah.
I still love cheese pizza every now and then. Not
Mhm,
quite as much as I used to,
mhm, mhm.
but me and my grandchildren, we don't eat as much as we used to.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why it's just nice to have fasting or detoxing as part of the ritual, because there are going to
Yes.
be things that we like, but as long as we're not doing it in excess, that's causing our bodies to be uncomfortable, off balance, diseased, however way you want to describe it. Um,
Hmm.
I think that was the most important tool that I could put in my belt, was to fast quarterly, every change of season, do something.
Every change of season.
Yes.
I've been doing that at least for the last 30 years with the
Hmm.
change of season. And when I was younger, I used to be able to do, 10, 30 days. And listen, when you did that 100-day water fast,
The juice.
the
There's the
juice
juice. Yeah,
fast,
I didn't do it. Yeah,
I said, wow.
that was a spiritual, because that was not in my plan to do.
I was so inspired, impressed, intrigued. And I think you and I were traveling and we met up. I don't know what, but it was like you were finishing your fast and you're like, I just finished this 100 days. And I'm like, girl, you look amazing.
It was definitely life changing because that was I started October 1st of 2016 and ended I think it was January 9th of 2017, but that's when I was led to visit Ghana and when I actually moved to Atlanta. So it was
Really?
important for me to yeah, and also, when I went to Africa, I had gotten malaria, but my immune system was strong. So my
Yeah.
body bounced back quickly. And yeah, and then it hit me that it was time for me to relocate. That was
Yeah.
2017. Yeah. So
And again,
fasting,
that's
spiritual.
right.
Yeah.
It's a way of hearing and knowing when to shift because some of us really do stay in places too long.
Yeah, we
You
do.
got to move around. We're not tree. Leela, remember Leela? Leela used to say, you're not a tree. You can move. You know,
Yes.
why complain about where you are? You're not a tree,
Yes. Yes.
you
And I'm
know?
getting ready to jump again. So stay
That's
tuned.
right.
They'll have
Stay
to come
tuned.
on in the summer to hear about that. Summer.
Oh, for the summer, yes, yes, yes. For the summer, ignite your soul connection to hear
It's all
about that.
connection. Yeah.
Well, and I think, Dr. Tammye, as I look back, I think you have probably been on every Ignite Your Soul, with the exception, I think, of one time that your schedule was not available.
Wow. Okay.
Because and it's just so amazing. And I do want people to be aware of the many gifts that you offer and the example that you are in, and getting excited about your new book coming out in the fall.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and creating around that. And I just want you to know that you are someone. As much as you say, "Oh, I'm so glad for you, Mushim," so you really are that for me too.
Oh, that is
You're that
such
for
an
me too.
honor. Such an honor. Thank you.
Yeah, I am
Thank
so grateful, in the lives that you have touched,
you.
and the stories that we share about people. It is just amazing. And so I thank you for that. And if
Oh,
it's ever, and you already know that, if it's ever anything I can do for you,
oh my goodness. Thank you.
you know,
Thank
it's
you.
just wonderful to have you in my sister circle and master force and my, love
Yes.
and light circle.
Right. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank
Now,
you.
as we move to the end of our time, what are some of the
Mm.
last things that you want? The time goes fast, doesn't it? You're like,
Wow. Wow.
what
This has
time?
been amazing.
This
Beautiful.
has been amazing, and I just love that we get to share, talk, be
Yeah.
together,
Yes.
and share information that makes a difference. That's profound information. People
Yeah.
can use it or not, but we're doing our part. We're putting it
We
out
are.
there.
We are. Absolutely. Yeah, I just want to continue to encourage people to, just really understand mind, body, spirit connection, you know, um, to understand that we are billions of molecules collapsing together in the naked eye.
Hmm.
We may look like we're solid, but we really are just these molecules, right?
Yeah.
And but we're live beings. We are spiritual beings having what Deepak Chopra says, we're spiritual beings having human experiences.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and the more positive, high vibrational, and some people may not know what vibration is, but it's knowing and understanding that everything is moving. Although it looks
Mm.
like it's still, the table, the chair, the computer, but everything is vibrating a certain
Yes.
level, right? And
Yes.
the more positive you put in, that includes the people that are around you, you know, um, the substances that you put in, it's impacting your vibration. The higher the vibration, the more powerful the force.
Mm-hmm.
And the food piece is a major piece because that is something that we are using to fuel these temples that we have. The quality of water is important. It's something we do every day. And it's reflective of really how we feel about ourselves.
Yes.
Look at what's in your refrigerator and in your freezer. If everything is
Yes.
dead, if you have nothing with life, then it's time to kind of sit back and do some reflection on, how do I really feel about myself? How am I showing
Mm.
myself love? It's not, again, no judgment. It's not about putting on fake eyelashes and, putting on the lipstick and getting your hair done. That's that whole outer piece, um,
Mm-hmm.
that shows that, that there is care, that is self-care, right?
But
But
that's not self-love. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
self-love, and I think we mistake that sometimes. We think, oh, I got my paycheck, I'm going to get my nails done, my feet done, I'm about to show myself some love, and then you're cute and then you're empty, because that's not showing yourself love. Showing yourself love may be you doing your own toes, taking the time
Mm.
out to pick the polish that resonates with you instead of what the trend is right now. You know, it's about really hearing your soul and giving yourself what you need at that moment.
Mm.
That is self love.
That
It's
is
a
self-love.
practice. It's a practice. It's a practice that should be done every day, every moment, every.
Yes. Every moment. One of the things that I took on probably within the last 3 or 4 years is rubbing on myself just at night, just sometimes it's massaging my hands, sometimes it's massaging my feet, sometimes it's massaging my breast, sometimes it's massaging my belly, my knee.
Yes.
And I think about how we grew up in environments that don't stop, don't touch yourself, don't,
Yep.
like like your body is taboo when it's like this is
It's
your
a,
temple.
it's
This
my temple.
this is
Why
my
can't
temple.
I touch myself?
Yeah, and the other day I felt a little knot in my stomach, and I just closed my eyes and rubbed it
Mhm,
out. Just
mhm,
rubbed it until it went away.
mhm, mhm.
Just
Absolutely.
released it because that rubbing breaks down all those different crystallize. They're just crystallizations that if you rub them, they'll release, break down, and go into your blood system, go into and then eliminate.
And then eliminate. Ooh.
Yeah, you just have to help them break down. And I was thinking when you were talking, I don't know if you're familiar with Phil Valentine, Dr. Phil
Oh yes,
Valentine.
I've been listening. He's very relevant. Very
Very
relevant right
relevant
now.
for years.
Yeah.
Yes, years.
He
And
used to be on Chicago radio, I believe, right?
no, well, he was New York. New
Was
York.
he
He's New
what?
York based. Just New York based. Yep. But he was talking a few years ago, and
Mhm.
he said the thing that's killing us is that we eat too much and too often.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and he said that, if you want to eat you some berries and some nuts, whatever the sun has touched,
Yeah.
those fruits. We're eating too much carbs and all that. He said that's what makes people age fast. They told us 3 meals a day, not melanated people.
Yes. Yes.
Melanated people don't need that. We're
Yes.
sun people.
We're sun people.
We
Mm.
need to get our food get our nutrition from food that's been touched by the sun. not manufactured in a plant,
Yes.
like this plant-based diet they got everybody on.
Yes.
That's not real food either.
Yes. It's not. It's
It's
plastic.
it's okay. It's
The
plastic.
body can't digest it. It doesn't know what to do with it.
Hmm. So Dr. Dave, I know I could just go. We could just keep going, but it's being
We always
mindful.
do this.
Yeah, we always do, right? It's Saturday night, and people might have other things they need to do. You have on your red attire. Do you have plans? You going stepping or something?
No, I'm going to bed because now we have to drive into Chicago tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. You're still on the road.
I'm
Well,
still on the road.
yes, I can't thank you enough for
Oh,
allowing us to be in your plans. And then
mm.
tomorrow, I'm speaking with our brother Samir.
Oh,
Oh
I'll
my
be on.
God.
I will
That,
be on. I will be
this has
on.
been a
Miss Mathews last night,
powerhouse.
but I'm gonna
Yes.
watch her. I'm gonna because I can. How can they watch the if they miss Friday
The
night
replay.
the
Yeah, they
replay?
can do. The replay is still on Ignite Your Soul Connection Facebook page, and
Awesome,
then they can also go to the YouTube channel Ignite Your Soul Connection. So
awesome.
they're in both those places, and I believe it's shared on my page. Yeah, so I believe it, and it might be on her page too. But it's out there. We don't,
Okay,
you
I
know,
can't wait to
we're
watch.
Right. We're not into the monetization game. However, if you want to donate, we do have a donate button,
Yeah.
because one thing that we have been doing for 35 years is we are self-funding. All
Yes.
right. We are
Yeah.
self-funding. So
Powerful.
we don't allow ourselves to be bought by
Bots.
other people and
Right.
brands and products and, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we are true to the cause.
Hmm.
So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Tammye,
Thank you.
and
Thank
you have
you.
some safe travels.
Thank
And
you. Yeah, I'll be
yes,
floating
yeah.
around. I will be floating around Chicago for my birthday.
Well, I'm not in Chicago, so that I
I
won't see
know.
you.
I got to figure out how to do the Detroit thing.
I know, and I said at some point we'll have to rendezvous.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll have
Yeah,
to rendezvous.
absolutely.
All right, and for the rest of you, again, we have one more master class, and that will be tomorrow with my brother Samir, and we're going to be talking about the secret sauce. It's so many different ways that we can actually supplement our nutrition,
Mhm.
and he is one of my favorite practitioners to go and call and say, "Hey, one of my clients have this going on. What can we do?" you know,
Nice.
very generous brother with his
Yeah,
knowledge. So,
yeah, he's a sharp guy. I had the opportunity to speak, with him. Was that for winter solstice?
yeah, was that last year or year before last? The two of
Yeah,
you were on a
sharp.
panel
Yes,
together for
yes.
Ignite Your Soul. That's right. Oh my
I'm
God, it
looking
was so
forward to it.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. So until then, guys, thank you, and thank you so much for
Yeah.
listening to us. All right. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.
All right.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Ignite Your Soul Connection Spring Edition Masterclass. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch tonight's replay as well as our past episodes. Leave us a review to let us know what you think. We hope you've learned valuable tools and insights to ignite your soul connection and live a healthy and more fulfilling life. This podcast is produced by Master Force coaches A. Alonda Gregory and Marshawn Frencha. For more information on upcoming Master Force Learning Academy classes and workshops, please visit our website at masterforceleadershipacademy.com. Stay tuned for our summer solstice Ignite Your Soul Connection in June, as we always say and encourage you to go out and